Then I imagine as you get deeper into the relationship, which I don't know, maybe you could give us some time frame, like how long, and did you start to then recognize things that became concerning, rather than endearing? Maybe it's even the same things, by the way, that you noticed, but they're no longer so enticing, but they're more concerning.
Yeah, it happened really quite fast, and that's the part that I feel some shame around is that I
Mm,
saw red flags pretty swiftly, and
mm,
I was so desperate to recreate the relationship that I had lost that I was willing to overlook them without
okay.
really realizing what I was seeing. There was an incredible level of naivete here. In fact,
Uh-huh.
one of the things he loved to say about me, if I asked him, "Why do you love me?" he'd say, "You're without malice." Now, one thing I
Mm,
need to say is English was his second language, so he didn't always use words that we would typically use. I think if to interpret that, he was saying you're gullible. I think that's actually what he was
mm.
saying, unfortunately, that he liked my gullibility, the fact that I was a literal thinker and I wasn't saying, I wasn't challenging his ulterior motives. And I would really urge people to ask themselves, what else might you gain here by doing this? I wasn't asking those questions.
Yeah, and that if someone says something and you're sensing it meant something else,
Yeah,
right? Also, you can question the person, right? Like, what is it that you mean when you say this, right?
right, right.
Because they don't necessarily know. And by the way, Dr. Kerry, I think you know this. I do work with these individuals directly, quite a bit of them. They don't even know at the conscious level what they're saying or the way it could be so devaluing until you push them a little bit further, and they could say something like, oh, I think you're so cute. That's what I mean by it. Like that's a
Hmm.
cute characteristic to have.
Hmm.
But then you have to help them realize, can it also be interpreted in another way, like condescending or critical or judgmental or diminishing them? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And here's the other thing that I picked up, I was sensing, because I read people, it's interesting. I'm a literal thinker in the sense of, but I'm abstract, but I take things literally when I hear it. So if you say strike the way the iron's hot, I tend to
Mm,
see the iron in my head and then reinterpret it in the abstract way.
mm,
So that's one of my grids that I've got to constantly push through.
mm.
But I also was sensing, because I'm very empathic and reading the room, especially growing up in a predatory home,
Yes.
that there was something dangerous here. And what could tell, and this is another really good point that you're making, Dr. Mazzella, is that if I was to challenge him like you were suggesting, it would have gone poorly.
Hmm.
And that's a problem. The fact that I was already aware that there were limits in the relationship.